All of the food we eat and much of the clothing we wear comes from plants and animals that are raised on farms. Farms are different in type, in size, and even in name.
Welcome to Barn Talk. What happens at the barn stays in the barn, but not today. We're going to let it all out for you guys. Today is going to be a Barn Talk Hot Topics episode. We're going to talk about everything going on in the world, everything going on in America that we got an opinion on. You might hate it. You might love it. If you love it, if you get any value, please share the show. That's all that we ask. It's the best way we have found to grow this show. It's kind of the ticket to admission to watch or listen to the show. We appreciate the hell out of all you that do that. And yeah, it's helped us out tremendously, word of mouth. So we appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, and if you hate it, let people know that too. Make sure that you let people know why you hate it so they can watch it, so they can figure out why they should hate it too.
Yep.
You know?
Every share helps.
That's right.
Even if it's good or bad.
Yep.
Another thing you can do to help us out here at Barn Talk is leave a review on Spotify or Apple. We love hearing your guys' feedback. And the more that you guys leave reviews, the more credible it makes our show, so we can have more guests come to the barn to have a great conversation with us. And we just love seeing those reviews pile up and see your guys' feedback. It helps us improve the show, make tweaks, make things better. So thank you to the people that do that. Last thing you can do to help us out here at Barn Talk is support our direct-to-consumer meat business, Farmer Grade, farmergrade.com. November 25th, Black Friday sale is going live. We're going to be up to 50% off the entire website. And then on Cyber Monday, we're going to continue that Black Friday sale going. But then if you order on Cyber Monday, you get a free dry aged steak with your order, no matter how big or small. So if you want to get some meat for the holidays, if you want to load up your freezer, if you want to give the gift of meat this holiday season, think of us at Farmer Grade because we got some deals going on. So be looking out for that.
I'll be getting some steaks because you successfully ruined me for steak. That dry aged beef, that 21 day aged beef. Yeah, it'll kind of ruin you.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to beat farm fresh, dry age. I mean, all the stuff at the grocery store is not dry aged. So, and that's just literally your carcass is hanging, and it becomes more tender. The beefy flavor's better. I had a steak at a local grocery store the other day because I can't always afford to take from the inventory in the freezer. So I had a ribeye, and it'll ruin you. I mean, if you buy a half beef, or you buy locker beef, or you get a beef done from your neighbor that's a farmer, I mean, the difference is night and day. I mean, it just is. It's night and day. So can't beat that.
You can't beat it.
No. What are the markets looking like?
Well, you could probably beat them a little bit. Although I will say, for all of the tariff talk and all of the sky is falling talk that we've been through for the last however many weeks, corn and beans have recovered pretty well, and we're like right back to kind of the resistance points on both of them, which doesn't make any sense because we didn't get a report for, I don't know, was it 40 days or however long? And we got a report out from USDA, and they barely moved the corn yield. I mean, they took it down by 0.6 of a bushel. And I mean, there were a lot of people that really thought it was going to go from like 186 to like 178. There were a lot of people that thought that if they were being realistic, that it should go to 172. It didn't. It was just down, just took a little bit off. And everybody thought the sky was going to fall. And I think corn might have been down like 12 cents that day. But then it recovered, and it's kind of been working its way up. This is the close, and December corn closed at 434. March corn 448. The best bid I could find local was 420. and 426 in Cedar Rapids. Beans for January, 1157. November 26 beans, so a year from now, 1129. Best bid local, Burlington ADM had 1127 and 1147 in Quincy on the other side of the river. Bean meal, $330 a ton. Wheat for December, $519. Cotton, that's not the updated price. I want to say I looked at it and I forgot to change it. I think it's $62.50 was the cotton price. I had to dig for that a little bit. Hogs for December, $78.50, and July of 26, $95.80. It's not getting any cheaper for you in July of next year, so you better get your pork processed early.
Yep.
December cattle, $221. Feeder cattle, $339. Crude oil, $51. That's kind of a crazy number to me. Bitcoin's been sliding. A lot of pressure, a lot of selling. $91,500. Tesla, $440. Gold, $4,027, and silver, $45. I mean, that silver market, there's a lot of people out there that got a whole bunch of silver for $15, $16. I don't know. I'd probably be a seller, I think. 30-year treasury, 4.73, and the 10-year is 4.13. And near and dear to our hearts here on Barn Talk, Beyond Meat Company, which I'm really surprised that they haven't halted trading, today hit $1. So I want to say we're beyond the 52-week high as far as the all-time high, but I think if you go back maybe even 2 years, it was over $100 a share for Beyond Meat. And you would think that with food prices high that people be looking at something like Beyond Meat. The only problem is it tastes like shit. So you can't even...
Full of shit, too.
People don't want to buy it even when food's high. So
no, people don't trust it.
Yeah. People don't trust it. And I'd say if you were trusting it, it's going to fold. And that's just one example. There's some other ones out there, but that's the one that I always like to pick on. So about to hit the skids. All of that courtesy of our dear friends at Conterra. Good people up there. If you want a second opinion on the finances on your farm, and let's face it, things are not great and they're getting tighter, and we look out into next year and commodity prices, what they are, and input prices, what we think they're going to be, might be a good time to talk to somebody and explore your options when it comes to financing. And Conterra Ag Financing is a good bunch of people to talk to. ConterraAg.com. Is that right? Is it ConterraAg.com? Yeah, reach out to them. And this fabulous market update sponsored by those guys. One more thing I wanted to throw in there. You've already missed out on your chance to own a wonderful piece of Americana, because I took my dad's 4-row wide, no-till, pop-up, liquid fertilizer, Cadillac 7000 planter to KDK Sales in Washington, Iowa. They're having an auction on December 17th, and I think the last day you can consign is the 1st. Anyway, I took Dad's old planter in there, and it had the monitor and it had the manual, which that's saying something. I think it's already sold. I think somebody private came in. Cook called me and said, "Hey, I think I can sell this thing." So, but if you would like to buy a almost pristine, in a heavily used kind of way, 27-foot 726 field cultivator, I'll sign it for you. It's in there at the consignment auction. There's a lot of goodies in there. So KDK Sales, Washington, Iowa. I think you go to kdkgroup.com. Let me look. I got it on here. Yeah, kdkgroup.com. Auction is the 12th of December. Cutoff to sign is the 1st. Good people there. We've had Greg on the podcast.
I think it's on the 17th.
17th. Did I say the 12th?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been very awkward if you would have driven down there and tried to get. They probably would have sold you something though. Yeah, I even put it on here. December 17th. December 17th. Last day to consign is December 1st. Thank you, Sawyer, for making me look more professional than I really am.
Yep.
Anyway, good people there. kdkgroup.com. Get all the information. That is what I have for you. What do you want to talk about?
Oh boy, I think we could start with the Zohan Mandani mayor election that happened in New York City. We're a little late to the game on talking about it, and I don't know if that's the best way to pronounce his name. Zohan, isn't it Zohan Mandani or whatever?
That sounds good.
Yeah, I think his name's Zohan, but a lot of people are either really happy about that or really upset about that, and I worry about that in it for a lot of reasons. Number one, I just feel like he was the first politician in a long time that just flat out said he's a socialist and kind of ran on that and was unapologetic about it, and he still won, which is scary because usually, like, I feel like the left has kind of disguised themselves of not really speaking that word, socialism, and speaking as like they're socialists. They don't like air that out.
They usually try to find creative ways to not say that.
Right. Like they don't air out that that's how they actually feel, and we all kind of know that that's kind of what their game plan is. But this guy doesn't give a shit. He was being like, yep, I'm a socialist. This is what I believe. This is how I believe it. And we all know what socialism turns into eventually. And so that was the scariest part to me. And, you know, I found a really great TikTok that just shows this street interviewer going around New York asking young people my age or maybe a little bit older, you know, why'd you vote for him? You know, what makes you want to vote for him? And they're like, just the vibes.
Yep.
The vibes of him. He just seems like a good guy. You know, he just seems like he's with the times. It's just the vibes he gives off.
Well,
and it's just like, holy shit, we're voting on vibes. We're voting because of vibes.
Didn't you tell me you saw something where they were talking about the people that are running his campaign, how they picked out all the colors and the font and how everything.
Yeah, I follow this guy on Instagram that's like a brand creative genius, and he pretty much breaks down brands' color scheme, typography, you know, any graphic elements that they have, and just how the brand all works together. And I will give him a lot of credit, his team a lot of credit. Him and his team definitely sat down and thought about the creative of how his signs looked, how his color scheme, what it looked like.
The font,
everything. Like they went around and they studied the best and greatest brands in New York City. And, you know, they really took a lot from a lot of those brands, you know, to a New Yorker. A lot of what they saw in his signs and his name and his branding was pieces of New York City inside of it. And I will give them a lot of credit on that because, it doesn't look like your typical, you know, like Como, his shit was like,
typical
politician, political, like just totally, same shit, different day, you know. And I think that was an advantage for him that he did kind of step outside the box, and he wore on his sleeve, he is different.
Yeah.
And a lot of ways that's appealing to a lot of us that crave different when it comes to our politicians. And young kids must just love the vibes so much that they're willing to vote for him just because of that. But the other thing that I find concerning about him is he classifies himself as Muslim, which I have no problem with anyone being Muslim. That's totally fine. This is what makes America great, is we can have all different types of races, ethnicities, religions coming into America to form it into the great country that it is. That's awesome. That's what makes it great, right? But it just worries me because he talks about how he's for, LGBTQ rights and he's for, women's rights and he's for all these things that
a devout Muslim would not be for.
Devout Muslim would not be for. And so you gotta have to ask yourself, is he claim to be Muslim because it's different, or is he not really that devout of being a Muslim, or is he just lying because he knows all this stuff, pushing all this shit and stirring the pot and focusing all of our time and energy on all this BS is destroying the fabric of America, and that's ultimately what he wants, right?
Well, and it is acceptable. It's acceptable. In the Muslim religion, it is acceptable to lie. It is acceptable to lie if you're lying to the infidel, if you're lying to your enemy, if you're misleading your enemy, that is okay.
For the betterment of Islam.
Because if it's for the betterment of Allah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways you can split it. Either he's like a Ted Kennedy Catholic, which, it's like, yeah, I'm a Christian, or he is purposely misleading people and not saying what he really thinks. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a scary thought. And I mean, like, I want to preface and just say, like, what I love about this country is I think there's people from all walks of life that makes this country awesome and great. And immigration is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to this country. If we didn't have it, we would have never been the powerhouse that we are today. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe that every single person has to have the same beliefs or same religion or same, come from the same places. And like him getting elected fair and square, it is what it is. That's what makes America fucking awesome, is that, hey, he put together a political campaign, executed it well, he got elected. Can't fault him for that. But it just worries you a little bit with all those things. Can you trust him? Is he devout Muslim? Is he not? If, he's flat out saying he's a socialist and just like owning that, and he still got elected for it. Just very concerning. And I think you're already starting to see a lot of people, wealthy people and entrepreneurs and, investors kind of already trying to move out of New York. Like, I've already heard people trying to, get out of New York because they're worried. Yeah. They're worried.
But to that point, like I told you, my thoughts about this is I don't think that he'll be mayor very long, because I think that Chuck Schumer is going to get pushed out, and I think AOC is going to run for his seat. And then I would not be surprised if they don't pull somebody like him. If he can keep his popularity up and not do anything stupid that offends a lot of New Yorkers, and she ends up running for Schumer's seat, I could see him totally running for her seat and move, like, not even finish a term as mayor and move right into Congress. And the other thing I'll say is, this last week, the legislature for the state of New York, the Speaker of the House, I want to say, I can't remember what her name is, and maybe she's the governor. I can't remember. But anyway, came out and said that the mayor of New York does not run the tax code. They cannot do anything with taxes. That's up to the state legislature. And when it comes to law enforcement, when it comes to transportation regulations, all of those things, the mayor of New York can't do any of them. And this person, she's a Democrat. So she's either the highest ranking Democrat in the New York legislature, or it's the governor. I can't remember which. But basically, she was just going on record to say that you don't speak for us and you can't do jack, which I thought was pretty impressive. So he may have a much harder time trying to do his city-owned grocery stores and free travel and doubling up all the taxes and all that. I mean, he may not be able to do any of the things that he is trying to do. And I think that these same people that voted for him because of the vibes and the promises, when those promises don't, because let's face it, there's a lot of those people that really wanted free stuff. Free stuff sells really well. That's one of the problems with socialism is socialism works really good till you run out of other people's money, and then it don't work very well. So I don't know. Time will tell, but it is surprising. To your point, it is surprising that he was able to win as handily as he did, basically laying it out there and saying, yep, this is what I am.
Well, and he's young. I mean, that's the other thing. I think we're all craving young politicians. We're all craving young looking guys that are with the times, And I mean, I don't think he had much competition when it came to another young, professional looking, man or woman against him. It was literally just, he looked appealing to a lot of young people, and it was everything. It was the branding. It was all that, and I say this all the time. Like, I have no problem with him being Muslim as long as American, it's like anybody that comes to this country, if you adopt American values and you become an American, you adopt what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what you come from, what you believe in, whatever, right? Because you're ultimately, you want to see America succeed and be successful and be a great place for everyone to live. But is everybody like that? I don't know. I mean, I've seen videos of people going on the street talking to devout Muslims, and they're like, we're going to take over America and we're going to make it an Islamic country because you guys are stopping having kids and we're not. Yeah. And eventually we're going to outnumber you and we're going to turn America into an Islamic state. And that guy, like a street interviewer was interviewing this guy in New York, and he just flat out told him that. It was like, yeah, you guys are stopping having kids and we're not. So we're gonna play the long game and we're gonna end up winning.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like, that's kind of crazy to see that and hear that. Because that's those kind of people are definitely not for keeping America what America has been. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's the concern. It doesn't matter if you're, from anywhere, if you're from Africa, if you're from Mexico, if you're from wherever, if you're not going to come into the country, keep your culture, because I think that's awesome, but you also have to
assimilate.
Yeah, you got to want to keep America, America. You came here for a reason.
Right, that's the thing.
You came here for a reason, so keep it the way that keep it the way that it was, because if it's so great, if it wasn't great, you wouldn't come.
Right.
You wouldn't have came here. Or your family wouldn't have came here. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly right.
So, yeah, that's the only thing that I worry about. But
since we're kind of on the vein of politics, I think the kind of the hot button thing going right now is the government's back in session. I think we did really well for 42 days. I mean, I didn't seem to feel any need for government while we didn't have government. I think we all made it through okay.
Besides the airports.
Yeah, the airports did get a little
lot
dicey.
Of pissed about that.
There were a lot of people pissed off about that. But the Epstein files. It looks like now, after Trump ran that, we're going to release them, and then there was a big conspiracy that the woman that was supposed to get sworn in as a Democrat that took over the seat of the guy that died or whatever, that they weren't going to swear her in because she was the vote that was going to release the Epstein files, and the Republicans didn't want them released because it was all about Trump, all bad. And then Trump comes out and says, release them. Yeah, release them. And so now I think everybody's on the same page that they're going to release them. And I think what that should tell you is there probably isn't going to be anything in there, because it has gone so long that if you want to play conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, anybody that's on the list is off the fucking list now.
Yeah, everybody that has the power has whitewashed the list to where they're not going to be on it. So that means that there isn't going to be any smoking gun for the Clintons. There's not going to be any smoking gun for XYZ. There isn't going to be smoking gun for Trump. I don't know how many other politicians. There isn't going to be any of that, because if there was, it wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, they wouldn't release the list if there was people on it. So
there's going to be a bunch of stuff, and it's tons. I mean, it's going to take people a long time to pour through everything that they are going to release. And I think when it's all said and done, you're going to see some people get the hammer thrown at them.
Yeah, they're going to have some. I mean, they're going to have some scapegoat.
Yeah, but it's all going to be underlings. It's not going to be any of these power brokers, because that's all been. I think that's all. If I have my tinfoil hat, which damn it, I should have brought my tinfoil hat over here. I would say that they've all gotten together and they've whitewashed it, and it ain't going to happen. So
it's so messed up.
It is. It's completely
messed up. That's the problem with government and all this shit. It's like anytime there's a scandal, the American people should know, because we don't want to support people that were into that shit. You know, whether they were from Hollywood, whether they were politicians, whatever. Like, we have the right to know that shit. And it's fucked up that we don't. And it's screwed up that they won't release the list. And it's screwed up that it's taken this long. And it's just kind of bullshit. I mean, it's just bullshit, because at the end of the day, like, there's nothing in there that we shouldn't know. We shouldn't have the opportunity to know.
Well, it should have already been out.
It was a guy that literally was a billionaire doing what he was doing on his own terms. Has nothing to do with like the underworld or the government. It has nothing to do with, you know what I mean? It was a public thing, and a figure that was, he was rich and all this stuff, but like, we should be able to know about it. We should be able to have the scandal. We should be able to see what all went down. But I guess when you're in bed with politicians and Hollywood elitists, I don't know. I've always said from the beginning, like, I think he blackmailed them. I think he got video footage of all those people. People said that he had cameras all over his house, and that was his way. That was how he was able to rise to power and to the top so fast, was he had shit on all these people.
Yeah. And he was smart enough to play both sides.
Yeah.
He didn't just play one side, he played both sides.
Yeah, so I do. I think he had shit on all of them, and but you're never going to see any of it come out, because it's already gone on for so long that, like,
we could be wrong.
Yeah, we very well could be wrong, but I don't think anyone's going to actually know the truth.
I highly doubt it.
I think we're going to get a very tainted version of the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't convince me. I mean, anything the government fucking touches now, I mean, ever since COVID, it's like, brother, they're willing to tell you whatever the narrative needs to be so that their ass doesn't get in a bind, and that they can push whatever they want to push. So the Epstein file is probably going to be the same fucking way. They want you to know what they want you to know. And they want you to think that the narrative is X, because that's the narrative they want you to know about and want you to think.
Yeah. 10-4.
You know?
I guess the other thing that is floating around that people are talking a lot about is all of the armed forces activity in our hemisphere, which really hasn't happened in a long time. But the Trump administration seems to be pretty keen on blowing up drug boats coming out of Venezuela, and I think a lot of people are totally okay with that. But I think there's a whole lot of people that think that that's an overreach, that's an overstep. And we sailed an aircraft carrier down there, brand new Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, which is the most, I think that's the newest one that is the most modern. It's got all the giddy go fast stuff on it. It's sitting down there. And I don't know what the end game is. I think the end game is they want to get that guy, they want that guy to be out of power in Venezuela, but I don't know what'll happen.
I think the end game is there's going to be a war. I don't know if it's going to be a world war, but we're going to go to a war eventually. America profits greatly from war.
Yep.
And it's been a little bit. And I mean, I don't know. This economy going the way that it is, we're going to need something to prop us up here shortly. So,
and they don't want to go. They don't really want to send. They don't want to go to Ukraine.
No, I got a buddy that is in basic training right now, and he has kind of laid out that he called me and told me all these things just about, the engagement laws,
rules of engagement.
They've completely changed. Used to be that, you had to wait for them to shoot at you, and then if they stopped shooting at you, then you had to stop shooting them. Now it's all bets are off. Like if you think if an enemy is going to put you down, you have the rights to put them down. So they're changing the engagement rules, and just the way they're going about fighting now. They're like preparing for. It's no longer training like they're going into the Middle East to go bust down doors. They're training for full-on warfare.
Yeah.
Like trenches again and training
what's
people.
Going on in Ukraine.
Yep. They're training people on pretty much. They're pretty much training people what's going on in Ukraine versus Russia. They figured out helicopters really don't do much because the Stinger technology has gotten so good that they're pretty much pointless. And the new thing is drones. Drones are like the new, if there's anything that's going to be front of mind for everybody in conflict going forward in war, it's going to be drone warfare, because they're just so ruthless. When a drone gets on your ass and is just following you for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, you can't outrun it, and then just puts you down. I mean, that's what the reality that you're facing. But he said something to me too that really made me think, because, on this show, we've talked about the military industrial complex for a long time. I think the government and military obviously link pretty closely, and we obviously profit and make a lot of money. Military industrial complex makes a lot of money when we go to war, because we got to produce all the things that we need to go to war. And he told me, though, another thing is, I think his commander or whatever was like, hey, boys, here's the reality. War is a business, and war props up the American economy. And the other thing that people don't think about is, if you want a military that is strong and that is powerful, and you don't get in a conflict or a war for 20 to 30 years, and all your sergeant, all your commanders, all of your colonels, none of the higher ups have any combat experience. Now that is a weak military. That's a weak army. You do not want that. And so I didn't even think about that part of it, but I mean, does have a point there in the fact that, you don't want peace is good, but peace for 20 years and then have all your military higher ups not have any combat experience. Yeah, that's a little concerning. And so I didn't even think about that. But he shared that with me, and I was like, damn. So my bets are in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be some conflict that we get involved in. No doubt about it.
Yeah. The technology is just absolutely changing. I mean, it's changing everything. The drone deal it's got a lot of these military minds just scrambling. And a good podcast to catch is, I don't know whether you might have to look this guy up. His name's Palmer Luckey. He is the guy that built Oculus and then turned around and sold it for a pile of money. And then he started a defense contracting company called Anduril. Anduril is the name of the company that he owns now. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about not only drones, but this idea now that and the Air Force is working on this. And I think Anduril may be the ones that are looking at building this for them. But they're taking the drone idea and they're building it into like an unmanned fighter. And they call it, I can't remember what the name they call it for, but basically what it is you would have one F-35 with a pilot, and then you would have like 8 of these drones, these high-speed drones that carry a payload almost the equivalent of what that fighter is. And the pilot of that fighter controls all those drones.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So in other words, they are his wingmen. And when he gets on target, he hangs back, and then he directs all of those to do whatever he wants them to do. And the upside of it is you can be much more aggressive and much more reckless with those drones than obviously the U.S. government's going to do with that pilot, because you don't want to lose a life and you don't want to lose that F-35 because they're very expensive. And then they also can, in combat, if he runs into enemies, then all of those wingmen try to defend him. Like, it's some crazy stuff that you would think would be like sci-fi, only it's like happening right now. And just the level of technology, and then you bring AI into that and machine learning. It's a crazy world.
People talk about having super soldiers, being able to give them a helmet or whatever that's giving them just crazy data and information and accuracy, and I don't know, hooked up to their brain or some capacity where they're just super soldiers. I mean,
so Anduril is building that system. They have the contract to build that system for the United States Army, and what it does is it links all the video feeds from all the soldiers in a platoon. So if one soldier is where he can see around the corner of a building, then every other soldier has that display, and it looks like they have X-ray. When they look at the building, they can see that there's somebody standing around the corner or behind a car or whatever. And it has integrated, they can toggle it between night vision, they can toggle it between infrared. I mean, it has all of this technology, but then everybody that's in that platoon is all networked together. I mean, it's like playing Call of Duty.
Yeah,
That's what it is. It's like, it's so funny because video games started out mimicking life, and now then life has started to mimic video games in that situation. So it's some crazy. I mean, that's some crazy shit for sure.
It is some crazy shit. Yeah, I don't know what war is going to look like. I mean, I was surprised. My buddy also said, like, he's surprised at how prevalent trench warfare still is, even in like Ukraine, Russia, despite all the technology. Because he said almost like what's happening is the technology is like fighting each other, and it almost evens out. Yeah. Like, everybody's got it now, that it almost evens it out, and it just has to come down to like, we still got to get our asses in the trenches and fight. So I don't know. I don't know if you can really get an edge or not of it, but we'll see.
Well, I don't know. I kind of want to shift gears here because there's been a lot in the news. We started out kind of talking about ag and the markets and all that, and there's been a lot of news about kind of the finance side in ag. And I saw a story the other day where they were saying that the point of view of this article was that ag lending is in really good shape because the volume of loans that are being made are at a really good clip. And I thought that was kind of the most absurd thing to me, because I will guarantee you the reason the amount of ag lending volume-wise is what it is because you've gotten to this fall and you have all these farmers who have operating loans that they're not going to be able to pay back. So guess what they're doing? They're amortizing that out. They're taking that and they're refinancing land, if they have land, and they're stretching that out so they can free up credit to be able to go another year. So it's not like a good thing. Like, this article was basically saying that's showing how healthy the ag sector is. And I'm like, no, it's not. And the truth of the matter is, and I think we're going to find out here by the end of the year, a lot of banks are moving out of ag lending. They're changing their standards. They're cutting back the number of people they have. They're cutting back the branches. And you're seeing companies get completely out of ag lending. and it's going to lead to a crisis. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see it become harder and harder for farmers to get the lines of credit that they need. And I've got some statistics. For the month of October, I think the month of October, tractor sales were down between 14 and 19%. Combine sales were down 24%. But that's after they were already down. I mean, they've been going down every month. So it's like compounding. But something I didn't even think about, and I read this, was you think about these dealers that can't move this inventory. Most of those guys are sitting on floor plans. In other words, the finance plan that they have to have the equipment on their premises from John Deere, Case IH, or whoever, they're paying between 8 and 10% on that money. This isn't like back when Deere was financing everything for nothing. That is why when you drive by a equipment dealer, they haven't got jack. I mean, these lots don't have anywhere near what they used to have on them. And the reason is because it's cost them on their floor plan. Okay, when you don't sell those tractors, you're like, okay, we got to move this stuff. Let's have an auction. So you have an auction, you take your haircut. But now what you've done is you've moved all this basically new or super late model equipment off your books, but you've also eliminated a whole group of buyers because you fed the market. So who's going to buy anything from you? And so it's not even a vicious circle. It's just, you're kind of screwed. And I think that the number of dealers out there in ag equipment, I think it's going to get chopped. I think, because I just think it's so tough. And then when I was talking about ag banking, Wells Fargo cut 200 bankers out of their system. The vast majority of those were out of ag states. And like in North and South Dakota, they got rid of over half the bankers in North and South Dakota that worked for Wells Fargo, and entire branches shut down. And it's Wells Fargo, basically, they really just don't want to be an ag. And Robobank, I don't know how much longer Robobank's going to be operating in the United States. They came out and they had a pretty pointed warning about where the ag credit world was, and their outlook was not very good. And there's one other one in there, and I guess I'm not going to talk about that one yet because I haven't been able to find. There's rumors floating around, and I've heard 2 or 3 people say this, that there's a pretty good size ag financier that started out financing inputs that moved to doing entire operating lines, that sent out letters here a couple weeks ago, basically said they were getting out of everything except real estate. But I haven't been able to confirm that, so I'm not going to say. So, long story long, you better know your numbers. And if you got a bank you're working with, you better make sure that you know your numbers and your stuff's up to date, and you know what kind of donut is your banker's favorite, because you may need a favor before we get through this mess.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah. When you see that, when you start talking about all these banks and doing what they're doing, their behavior tells you how optimistic they are about the world of agriculture, and that's scary. That's very scary to see, and it's just more another example of just consolidation.
Yeah,
we don't need more consolidation; we need less of it. But it seems to be happening everywhere. It seems to be happening everywhere, all over the place, in every industry and everything. It's just everywhere. And I don't know how you stop it, but it's like you're sucking the life. It's like consolidation is just, it's sucking the life out of America a little bit, you know? And it's sad to see it. It really is sad to see it, but we're just in these really uncertain times. I mean, we're just in these uncertain times. And like talking to my buddies, I know we talked about this in our last Hot Topics episode, but like I think about this. Like I think about your guy, you know, your life, and like you guys had '08 and you obviously had the hog crisis in the 90s, and you're an ag, so you're not like the regular, you know, guy out there where I think '08 was about the hardest thing that you've seen, right? And you guys had probably what, 40? I mean, you were born in 71. Yeah, the 80s. If you weren't in agriculture in the 90s, you would have never seen that.
Right.
And 80s were hard.
Yep.
But for just the regular economy, the only real hard time was what, '08? Since then?
Yeah.
And it just makes you think, like, like when I'm talking to my friends, we're in a whole new place now. Like, how long have we kicked the can long enough to its limit? Like, how much longer can we kick the can and just stimulate our economy for another 40 years?
Yeah.
Or are we at a point now where consolidation, AI, the economy, inflation, and the printing of the money has gotten to a point now where we aren't going to be able to just like bail out and continue to bail out and have the 40 years run that you guys had? Like, I genuinely think about that a lot, about just young people. Like, are we on unprecedented times where we might, like, I think about grandpa.
Yeah.
Like, grandpa had to live through the Depression, you know?
Yeah.
And
but it was different.
And it was completely different because everybody was everyone mostly, for the most part, still had a garden.
Most people were pretty self-reliant.
Yes.
Outside of your very biggest cities. And so, you know, we've said this before, that when you talk to my dad about the Depression, he would just say, well, we didn't have any money, but nobody had any money. And we lived out of the garden, and you only went to town once a week, and all you bought was like a bag of sugar and a bag of flour, because everything else you had on the farm.
You grew.
And so you weren't, you know, it was hard, and you didn't buy new stuff. You had to figure out how to fix shit, and there was a lot of cobbled up stuff, but you got through because you weren't worried about if you were going to starve.
And I guess that was probably a lot of Midwest, you know, a lot of people on land, that's probably how it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of neighbors that probably lived in town had friends that they could sell produce to or just give to or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you lived in a city, I'm sure it was a hell of a lot harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're in a time where we've kicked the can. You had prosperity for pretty much 40 years. We got AI. We got people that don't know how to. We're not as self-sufficient as they were.
Yeah, right.
I just worry that Is it reasonable to think that we could have another 40 years of?
I don't know.
40 years of prosperity? With everything going on, consolidation, the economy being where it's at, inflation by printing the money, AI, and nobody knowing how to fucking do anything and not having a garden in our backyard. Like, what does it look like? Well,
here's something for you to think about. So while we were sitting here,
not to be doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But this is genuinely what I'm talking to my friends about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally, it's what we talk about, because it's like, you think about it.
So I get text market update. So Cat Grain sends out their texts 3 or 4 times a day. The last one I got today, the end of it, he said there must have been a report that came out. It says the United States owns 35% of global debt is owed by the United States. China 17%, Japan 9%, Russia 0.5%. And then the rest of it doesn't list anybody else. I'm sure Europe is a big chunk of that. But to your point, okay, we already have 35% of the world's debt. Can we do that for another 40 years? I think that's your answer.
No.
I don't think you can.
So, I mean, talking to my buddies, I feel like, what do you do? I mean, do you push the gas pedal down further and harder and still try, have the discipline to continue to invest in the stock market and do all the right things and try to increase your income and cash flow and all that? But at the same time, like, we are going to go through some times here where I think it's going to be tough. Like, I think it's going to be tough. It's not going to just be like a bounce back. And maybe this bubble will pop and we'll print more money and we'll go back to having another decade run. But how many more can we do before it's like shit's going to take a little bit longer to really get back?
Well, the consumer,
or we just lose it all together. I don't know.
The consumer is completely tapped out. And I have talked about this. Trish and I have talked about this so many times. So we were married. We've been married 32 years. And when we first got married, on the one hand, I'll say your generation is so much smarter than we were. You know, so much more. We didn't know jack when we got married. We didn't know anything about finances. Our parents did a terrible job of like explaining a lot of stuff to us. But we were just thinking about this the other day. It's like, we didn't have cable TV. We lived out in the country. So we didn't have cable TV. We didn't have a cell phone. I remember the first cell phone that we got was a bag phone. And I think we paid $20 a month for like 120 minutes or something like that. And you only used it in an emergency. We had a landline. So you didn't have any apps. In other words, we only had a handful of bills. You had the grocery bill. We didn't have a car payment when we first got married. Like, you just didn't spend the money. You didn't go to the coffee shop and get $5 coffee. Like, if you went to a gas station, got a coffee, it was 35 cents for a cup of coffee. And 32-ounce Fountain Mountain was 69 cents. And you just didn't have as many things to spend money on, but then you didn't have 13 apps on your phone that you were paying $3 a month for this and $1 for this and $1 for that. The consumer today is so tapped out from all of the nickel and diamond that we all have because we are relentlessly sold that we need all this stuff, and everything is geared towards as little friction as possible. And Apple Pay is, you talk about frictionless. You want to buy something online, you don't even have to fill out your information. It's just like instant, just doom, done. It makes it so easy for people to everything is geared towards sucking the money out of the consumer. And I think the consumer's just about tapped out.
Well, and the other thing is our money doesn't go as far either.
No.
So that's the other factor. I mean, that's the other factor. And I don't know. I just brought that up because you brought up just the lending and the consolidation. It's another industry that's consolidating, and it feels like everything's consolidating, and it feels like we're just in... This just feels different. I was 8 years old when 2008 happened, but I've learned a little bit about it. I mean, had something to do with lending too.
Yeah.
But mostly real estate.
Yeah.
It just feels like, God, it's everything. Like, It feels like everything is hurting a little bit, and everything is consolidating, and everyone is feeling it. And I don't know, like, who do you fucking bail out? Like, if this shit goes sideways, who the fuck are we bailing out? Are we bailing out everybody, every industry? Are you bailing out, or is it just the first one that goes tits up that's so bad? Like, is it going to be the first person that just goes tips up first, the first industry that's so drastic that it just tanks everything, that, all right, they're the scapegoat, they're the one that we're going to bail out because they were first, because they just couldn't hold on for any longer?
Well, I mean, the list is pretty long. I mean, student loan debt is one of the that's huge. Car loans. I think I gave this statistic at some point, and I don't remember what it was, but it blew my mind. somewhere I read that in say 1995, somewhere around there, only like 35% of the cars sold had a car loan on them longer than 24 months. And now then they want to loan money on cars for what? 6 years? Something like that?
Well, we're talking about 50-year mortgages.
Yeah, and there's another example. I mean, you might as well rent because you're never going to pay that off, I don't think.
That's the other thing. I mean, it's heading to a renter's economy. And I mean, young people aren't buying a house. Yeah. Young people aren't buying houses because the reality is it's too expensive. It's way too expensive to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I don't know where it all ends up. I don't know how it all looks. I hope there's some light at the end of the tunnel, but I think as a young person, like, man, it's all about, like, to me, what I'm going to try to do is, stay in the market, do the fundamental things of investing, continue to grow your portfolio slowly but surely because time in the market's important. Build your cash flow up, build assets, save money. And it's really easy, to get caught up in like going on a trip or going on an experience because that's always in your face too. But I just feel like, man, it's the people that are young, that hustle, that save money, that invest money, that buy assets, build businesses, have side hustles, are going after it. You're going to be, you're going to be happy with yourself because I think unprecedented times are coming. And I think if you take yourself serious right now and do those things, you'll be better for it versus somebody that doesn't do any of that shit. That's just living YOLO, buddy. Just YOLO, living for the moment, living out my 20s, traveling in a van right now because they want to go see everywhere that you can see. Who knows what that looks like for them? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know.
And maybe universal basic income will be a thing. I have no idea because, the workforce could get displaced. No clue.
Do you know that I'm 54. I think I can take Social Security when I turn.
Oh, you think it'll be around?
Oh, I think I should take it as soon as I can get it before it's all gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it'll be around when
I don't know. Can you take it at 62 or 65? I don't know. If it's 65, I'm only 11 years away.
Yeah, I don't know if you think it'll be around.
Oh, I think I'll get a little of it before it goes to pot.
Yeah,
and then I'll cash in on my universal basic income.
There you go, double dipping.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah. Well, they are hiring at the post office in our little town. I thought I should go in there.
All I ask for you is just stay in good shape, you don't have to rot in a. I don't want to take your ass to a nursing home.
Well, you won't be able to afford to, so I'll have to live with you.
Okay. Well,
boy, this did take a turn. This took a turn.
It did. There's a lot of opportunity, though. I mean, that's the thing. That you got to be optimistic because at the end of the day, got to control the controllables, but there still is a hell of a lot of opportunity out there. I think it's like we say all the time on here, it's never been easier to start a business or learn information or learn how to invest or get a side hustle. So that's the thing that we got going for us. But yeah, I mean, you got to know what's going on. You got to know what playing field you're playing on.
Yep.
Because living in la land ain't going to help you because the facts are the facts. The reality is the reality. So I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. These are the questions that I'm asking as a young person, as somebody that talks to their other friends that are in different industries and either have a corporate job or a sales job or have their own business. I mean, these are the conversations that we are having and that we are talking about. And I know that we're not the only young people talking about it. And I'm sure, older folks are talking about it too. We all feel it. So, yeah, I just think it's time to buckle down. It's time to learn. And it's time to buy assets and do them as much as you can because who knows where it all goes.
Jesus is coming back, so look busy.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true too. Get your faith right. That's right. I mean, I think that, and that's a thing that you see a lot right now too. Is, I mean, even before the Charlie Kirk thing, but even bigger after the Charlie Kirk thing, there's a lot of people running back to traditional values and faith, and I think that's for a reason. I think people are looking at the world and they're going, "This shit is screwed up."
Yep.
And I need to get my relationship with God and Jesus Christ figured out here, because who knows what's going to happen, but that's something that you can hang your hat on, and that you can, know where you're going. End of the day, know where you're going. So yeah, anyway, sorry if I kind of took the wheel and
stirred us right into depression. I need a Xanax now. No, it's good. It's good. We'll probably be back. We've had a heck of a run of guests, and we're getting close to Thanksgiving. I think that we've got a little bit of time before our next guest, and so we'll probably be back here with a Q&A episode. We haven't done one of them in a long time, so yeah, I mean, we love you guys.
Yeah, we love you guys. We appreciate you. Let us know what you guys think. We want to hear what you have to say. What are you talking about at your dinner table? Are these the things you're talking about? What are the hot topics you're talking about? What are the things that that you're discussing amongst your friends and family? Because those are the things that we want to talk about, we want to highlight, and we just want to see if we're having the same conversations with you guys. So we appreciate the hell out of all you. We love you. And we'll see you back here next week for another episode.